Hi, I'm Bill McLaughlin, Editor-in-Chief of Furniture Today. I am here in the Global Sourcing Pavilion with Al Bolton, Managing Director of High Point Exhibitions. Al, thank you for having us up here.
Bill, it is our pleasure to have you and the Furniture Today crew on the floor today. Great exposure, great experience. Thanks.
Absolutely. Al, sourcing has become so critical the last couple of years. The whole sourcing equation has been tossed up in the air by the supply chain crisis, the freight issues, all of those things. How has that changed what you're doing here at the Global Sourcing Pavilion? It seems to be more active, more companies coming in, more countries coming in. Is that just my perception, or is that what you're seeing as well?
Bill, that is your perception and that is reality. You look at all these people on the floor for this particular market, and we have over 60. And those 60 companies come from Turkey, they come from China, we have some from Vietnam, we have, 10 from Malaysia, we have Poland, we have even the Ukraine. If you look at exhibitors around the world or exhibitions, and you look at what these people had to go through just to get here over the last 2.5 to 3 years.
So, Al, how does a company that is very successful in its own market come to the U.S., and how does the Global Sourcing Pavilion help that company try to get a foothold and get introduced to the U.S. market?
Good question, Bill. Good question. The whole purpose of the Global Sourcing Pavilion that we started a little over 10 years ago was to be able to provide a first-time international exhibitor with a total turnkey package that if they know absolutely nothing about the U.S. market, that from the beginning time that they commit until the time the market begins, we have done a complete company assessment on each of those companies. We have worked with them at least for a minimum of 3 months, going through their product lines, evaluating the product lines, making sure that the products that they have or they are creating are appropriate for the U.S. market, things that U.S. buyers want. There's a whole nother way to look at it, and that is through workmanship. Several of the exhibitors possess special production skills, and when a U.S. buyer comes in and he sees that skill, the U.S. buyer is willing to work with that company to create special product because they know it's going to be manufactured the right way.
Now, do companies tend to come here and then stay here for years, or do they come here and then establish their own presence in the mainstream of the market?
The best way to describe it is the Global Sourcing Pavilion is the incubator for the High Point market. Both you and I have traveled, markets extensively worldwide in the last 20 years or so. You look at Shanghai, you look at Cologne, you look at Heimtextil by Messe Frankfurt, you look at Birmingham, England, you look at MIFF in Malaysia. All of those exhibitions have been controlled by one organizer, one entity, and they typically take place in a convention center. Now we get into High Point. High Point is the most daunting, the most confusing market that anyone has ever encountered in the world. I've been coming here for over 30 years, and it still baffles me when I come into town as to how to find things and how to get from point A to point Z, etc. We make everything here in High Point simple. Everything that people that have been here for 10, 15 years that they know to do for the market, such as directories, such as advertising, such as promotions, we do that for our exhibitors because High Point is a destination market. 90% of everything in High Point is a permanent showroom, and people spend huge amount of resources to become that destination. What we do in Global Sourcing is we bring a large group of international exhibitors together that then make it worthwhile for the buyer or even the other exhibitors to come and see what is here. It's a snapshot. It's not comprehensive if you're going to a market offshore by yourself, but it's a good enough snapshot to make the contacts with the right people if you're serious about doing business with them.
So you've been doing this for over 10 years. You've seen companies who are successful. What do the companies who are successful do differently? In other words, what does it take for a company to be successful coming into the U.S. market, coming to the Global Sourcing Pavilion, and getting themselves established in the U.S.? Are there 2 or 3 things that you could say, these are the steps you must take?
There are steps they must take, but the most important thing, Bill, is managing the expectation. High Point is like advertising. If you come as a first-time exhibitor, you're going to meet a few people, you're going to trade a few business cards, you're going to get a little bit of interest. The next market, the buyers are a lot more serious about what you're doing. They see that you're here, you're committed. It's typically by the third market that the trust, the relationship is building. Samples are specifically made for that buyer. Test trials at the retail floor with the new merchandise are made, and business begins. It's the biggest expectation that we have to set is if you come to High Point for the first time, you're not going to write container business unless you have a prearranged appointment with an existing customer that you already have. The best thing that one of our exhibitors walks away with was they have enough information, they've seen enough new product, they've met enough people, and we've brought the resources of the International Home Furnishings Reps Association to bear, who network with all of these companies. We bring the resources of the Market Authority, we bring the resources of Furniture Today to these people's attention so that they have the right information to build a real business plan for the future. That's the real benefit that these people get.
So if someone sees this and they think, that's the right situation for me, how do they get in touch with you, or how do they find out more?
They could contact us directly at highpointexhibitions.com on the website. They can email me directly, just Al Bolton at highpointexhibitions.com. If they do an inquiry through the Market Authority, that is forwarded to us. So that there are a number of ways they can get in touch with us. We also have some specialists. These are not exhibition people, these are not media specialists, but we have some agents that we've developed over the years, strategically located around the world, that work in the time zone with these companies, removing all the lags that we would have. We have an excellent agency in Turkey. We operate Asia out of Taipei. We have Mumbai for India. We have a super group out of Brazil. And we'll be announcing after this market some special representation in Mexico.
Well, stay tuned for more. Al, thanks for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.